All right, so that's FEM Industries. Yeah, it did lose a goodish bit year to date, but has gained a lot in July itself. Month to date, the gain is 20%, so already showing an uptrend. Let's welcome Siddarth Bhamre of Angel Broking into the show now. Good morning, Siddarth. The trade on the Nifty today, is it a short trade at all?
Good morning, Lata. As a position trader, I would still not short this market. What we are seeing from the statistics perspective, especially FIs, these guys were going long in market since last 1.5 to 2 weeks, and whatever announcement came post Friday market closing, many people are talking that this will not affect FIs because most of them are coming through legitimate way. But statistic is saying that there is some unnerviness among them, and that's the reason they have unwounded long positions a bit and formed some fresh short position also. That's the reason you're seeing that there's around 1500 crores of sell figure, but there's hardly any open interest change. Interestingly, what they have done, these guys were also selling 8500 put option in big way because they were confident about market moving higher. And what they have done in one trading session itself is covered most of their short positions which they formed in 8500 put. And interestingly, these positive positions, that is short put positions and long index futures positions, they have squared off some of them and formed long positions in index call options, 8500, 8450 and 8400 call options. So what this means, and why I'm saying they have formed long, because there is a buy figure in index option and IVs of calls have jumped yesterday significantly compared to put, and IVs of calls are higher than put. So this suggests that there is some unnerviness in them, and they are expecting probably there might be some voices coming from government sources which would say that this may not happen, and probably there might be a bounce back as well. So I am not throwing the towel and saying that okay, now there is a huge formation of short position, one should go short in this market. This market overall is in a broader range, Lata. At 8,200 you will hear people talking about 7,800. At 8,600 consensus would be like 9,000 plus, but I think we are moving in this range. It is a sell on rise market, it is a buy on risk market, so I will not short this market as of now.
No, that is a proverbial truth. At 8,600, people do talk of 9,000 and more easily talk of 7,800 as you approach 8,1. Take your point on that. Siddarth, we have lots more questions for you on specific stocks, but we have to take a break. Back in a jiffy. Welcome back. We just have a couple of seconds, so let's not ask any questions now. Just wait for the opening trends. Nifty is wavered. Sensex is actually in the green, but the Nifty is like all over the place, so we can't come to any conclusions just yet. SGX Nifty was mildly in the green, so I'm holding on to that hope, as was Taiwan, as was Hang Seng. So it wasn't a sea of red on the Asian skies today. And therefore, I would perhaps latch on to what the Sensex is indicating at this point in time. A fairly deep tone of green is what we are getting. The rupee is actually opened stronger. So both these are probably indicating that there isn't too much weakness, at least at the opening. But we'll have to wait and see whether the strength, if any, gets sold into. Those are the pre-opening rates. I don't as yet want to read out all the rates on the Nifty because it might be a little wavered at this juncture. Maybe you only want to pull up Ambuja Cements. That started with a 2% downtick. Tech Mahindra as well, starting with a 3.4% downtick. That's understandable, as Rima was pointing out. A lot of the good news was priced into Tech Mahindra since it rose over the past several weeks. And therefore, for the moment, maybe it's bulking any further gains. But let's wait and see. These are still very early minutes.
Yes. Also, as an analyst was pointing out yesterday, in Tech Mahindra, at best you could see a relief rally. There's nothing in these earnings that deserves Tech Mahindra to move substantially higher from here. I mean, the numbers are just about paltry. But nevertheless, a couple of other stocks that you could keep on your radar this morning. KEC International, very good set of numbers announced by the company. So that one in pre-opening is up 13%, as you can see. Torrent Pharma, exceptional set of numbers once again for Torrent Pharma. That one is up 10% in pre-opening. and Jagran Prakashan, as we were discussing just a while back, profits have gone up by more than 40%. The stock is up almost about 8%. But this market is rewarding good numbers, Prakash. We saw it yesterday with the likes of MRF, for example. 700 basis points jump in the margins, but not great top line growth. Is the tire space something that you would still keep on your radar, or is that something where the story has played out?
No, I think it's still maybe another quarter is where what you could see a little bit of momentum there, but otherwise there's going to be a fatigue that will set in, and people who are into commercial vehicle tires will start benefiting slightly more than the passenger segment. The other thing is that all your benefits on the low input side and everything is kind of factored in. So there's not much of a trigger unless you have, brownfield expansion and you improve on your ratios, ROC and ROE ratios. But I don't see any of them doing that. In fact, Apollo is already, fallen by the side of such. It's not participated this time. You see that fatigue happen also in JK, and the only stars are CEAT and probably MRF. But then that's fine. I don't see that space to be so driven by momentum beyond a quarter.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you about, let me get Siddarth first into the picture, and then I have a couple of more stocks for you, Prakash. Siddarth, will you have a short on the bank Nifty, and you have a sell on LIC housing, not on any of the banks?
Yeah, Lata. So we are seeing Bank Nifty forming short positions, and we were mentioning last couple of weeks that even if 18,800 resistance is breached, the next resistance is not very far, so one should not go long in Bank Nifty. And private sector names and even PSU names, last week we were suggesting to short names like SBI. LIC Housing Finance has just shown some beginning of some correction. We are seeing some unwinding of long position. Stock has done really well. Housing finance, housing industry or real estate is not doing great, and I'm sure this is going to have impact on LIC Housing Finance for sure. And we are anticipating fresh formation of short positions in this counter. We don't have very aggressive price target, but I'm expecting 448 to come in this counter. 494 should be the ideal stop loss. So we would shy away from PSUs as well as private sector names in banking space, because in Bank Nifty specifically we are seeing formation of short positions.
All right. Prakash, I wanted to ask you about KC International. We must pull up a 1 year of KC International chart. Yesterday it saw a very, very sharp increase after its results. Fairly good numbers. Extraordinarily good numbers actually. Yeah. More to go?
Oh, absolutely. If you see the chart, it's just kind of come back to come slightly higher than what it started off with because of the kind of downturn that it faced and some issues in the overseas markets that they had. Now, just as a matter of disclaimer, I do have exposure to this. In fact, I'm a long-term patient investor in this stock for a long time now. The beauty about this company's business is it's benefiting on two counts. One is the input side. You have a lot of raw material software that's helping it. The expansion of orders that it has seen has come at prices which are still not kind of linked to the lower input side, especially in their overseas options. They that graph. Also getting into the EPC segment, which is where their own production is a raw material, and they get value added distinct benefit on that. So I think lots to go in this company, and as Power Grid starts spending that whole huge hoard that it sits on, it's just done about 8,000 crores out of a total of about 40,000 crores that it has to spend this year. So you can imagine how distribution companies will benefit in the value chain.
Alright, well, another stock that should come up for you that may react to its numbers today is Subros. It's a small company, but the profits for Subros have gone up by 21%. It manufactures air conditioners, especially for cars like Maruti. So it has been doing decently well. Subros should come up for you. In pre-opening, that stock actually has a very good run this year, up about 70% or so. Talking about Maruti, Prakash, what's the expectation that our numbers are today?
Yeah, so it's interesting to see how the street reacts because the stocks run up. There's not much of an expectation. Everything's priced in, but you have a stock here that keeps on reinventing itself every now and then. And I wouldn't want to kind of give it any sort of an inhibiting factor, saying it's going to stop growing at 4,500 or 4,400 or whatever. I think the company will surprise us with not only the numbers but even the plans going forward, because they can't be setting up Nexa showroom and not having a of luxury cars.
Yes,
so that's something which they have not yet revealed, but the moment that happens, you'll want to again re-rate the company. So I'm extremely bullish. Disclaimer is, again, I'm an IPO type investor in Maruti. So
Ooh, you're a rich man.
so no, it's probably that we forgot about the holding. But look, the numbers today, particularly, what people are expecting is that the sales growth's already been factored into the price and all. But where they'll score is margins. They'll probably report margins which are beyond expectation. The company, the street's not expecting too much right now. But let's see, look forward to the results today.
All right, Prakash, pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for the bunch of stock ideas that you shared with us. I think we are getting some fresh visuals coming in from Shillong, is it? This is the body of the late president, from the Guwahati airport actually, of President Abdul Kalam Azad.
Helicopter from Shillong, and right now the last ride by program and the governor, and standing at the bottom will be the and taking ground insurance here the last ride to be conducted. From Guwahati what is
All right, so those are pictures of the late president. Let's get back to talking stocks. Siddarth is still with us. Siddarth, what's your strategy on TCS? That's the stock on which you have a strategy. Don't you have one on Tech Mahindra, the one that announced numbers?
Lata, in IT space, Tech Mahindra we had given buy somewhere around 470 or 465 with a target of around 501. So we are out of it. We don't trade any further in that. TCS we were shorting around 2650, and Infi we were suggesting to buy somewhere around 970, 980. So now Infi is not a buy for us. In fact, end of last week we have initiated pair trade with buy TCS, sell Infi. But since Infi has corrected, so right now we have recommendation on buy TCS only. I think this range of 2450 to 2500, this is a good support for this counter. We have seen that there are a lot of short positions which are standing in TCS, and near this support, and as Infi has already gone up and other IT names have not done really well in terms of their numbers, I think there would be traders who would be, or there would be investors who would be in this difficult kind of market, would find some safety in TCS, and this support may hold. So at current levels or between 2450, 2500, we would suggest to buy this counter for the target and stop loss mentioned on your screen.
Okay, I just want to mention something about Hero MotoCorp. Just background on the news. Is entered into a settlement agreement to acquire EBR Consulting. Now EBR is a North American company. Hero MotoCorp had acquired 49% stake in EBR, Eric Buell Racing, and EBR is a company that went bankrupt. So now they have gone ahead and acquired that insolvent company, and that settlement has been done over there. They had paid about $25 million, which they wrote off eventually for the EBR consulting business, but now they've gone ahead and acquired it completely. But not too much of a fundamental impact on the Hero MotoCorp stock. But
so I just want to ask Siddarth one more stock. Lupin, Siddarth, are you tracing that stock? It looks like it's fallen to support levels at 1700 or thereabouts. Is there more of falls coming in the stock, or do you think this could be a situation to get in for those who missed the bus?
So there has been, no doubt, a good amount of selling which was observed in Lupin, and I heard on your channel that there's some positive. That's the reason stock is showing upside. Support is strong support around 1580, 1600 levels, but the kind of short positions which have been formed continuously in this counter is not encouraging us that one should buy here. We are not anticipating that at 1600 and on back of what news you guys are talking about, there will be a huge short covering. So I won't initiate any longs despite stock is near support.
okay, you have a pair trade, a buy ITC short HUL call. Just take us through that.
Yeah, so we are quite bearish on the HUL. It has a strong resistance around 920, 930. In fact, last week we have just initiated shorting just on the result day morning. Again, after touching targets, it has come back to higher levels, and we are seeing formation of positions over there, and we believe it's most of it is short positions. ITC, initially we were bearish, we were anticipating it will go to 85 or so. But at this point of time, what we are anticipating that ITC may not fall much. There might be some bounce which can take it back to 325, 330 odd levels, and HUL may correct. So initiate a pair trade, short HUL, buy ITC.
All right, Siddarth, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great trading day. You want to recap Siddarth's stocks?
Yes, in fact, in pre-opening, before we just go to Siddarth's stocks, in pre-opening the levels are flat with a bit of a positive bias. So let's see whether any of that holds. But there are stocks like Ambuja Cements that are reacting negatively to their numbers. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. But in case you missed out on Siddarth Bhamre's stocks, here they are. He recommends buying TCS with a stop loss of 2428 and a target of 2598. He also recommends selling LIC Housing Finance with a stop loss of 494 and a target of 448. Here's a quick recap of Shubham stocks for today as well. He recommends buying Ashok Leyland with a stop loss of 76 and a target of 90. Dish TV is also on his buy list with a stop loss of 109 and a target of 135. On to the sell calls, then he recommends selling Hindalco with a stop loss of 112 and a target of 90. And finally, he recommends selling Canara Bank with a stop loss of 290 and a target price of 225.
All right, let's quickly give you a recap of the Super 6 trading ideas as well.